Introduction. Weather has always been a subject of fascination, concern, and sometimes fear. Throughout history, humans have sought ways to predict, control, or influence it. In modern times, weather modification technologies such as cloud seeding have become real, leading to both scientific breakthroughs and widespread conspiracy theories. Fears about weather manipulation are deeply rooted in public mistrust of governments, corporations, and scientific institutions. Many conspiracy theories suggest that global elites or secret agencies control the weather for political, economic, or military advantages. The most common beliefs include the idea that chemical trails, chemtrails in the sky are used for geoengineering, that military projects like HAARP high-frequency active auroral research program can cause earthquakes and hurricanes, and that cloud seeding could be used for nefarious purposes. While some weather modification techniques are real and scientifically studied, the extent of their impact is often exaggerated or misrepresented. This article explores the history of weather control, the conspiracy theories surrounding it, and the reality behind these claims. 1. The history of weather modification. Weather modification is not a modern concept. Since ancient times, humans have attempted to influence weather conditions for agriculture, war, or disaster prevention. Here are some key milestones in weather manipulation history. 1.1 Ancient and pre-modern attempts. Rainmaking rituals. Many ancient civilizations, including the Native Americans, Chinese, and African tribes, performed ceremonies to invoke rain. These often involved dance, music, or sacrifices to gods believed to control the weather. Cloud seeding before science. In early agricultural societies, farmers would shoot cannons or set off explosions, believing it could trigger rainfall. 1.2 The birth of scientific weather control. Cloud seeding 1940s. Modern weather modification began in 1946 when scientists Vincent Schaefer and Bernard Vonnegut discovered that adding silver iodide or dry ice to clouds could stimulate precipitation. This technique, known as cloud seeding, was used to increase rainfall and reduce drought effects. Operation Popeye 1967–1972. The U.S. military experimented with cloud seeding during the Vietnam War to extend monsoon seasons and disrupt enemy movement. This was one of the first documented cases of weather modification being used as a weapon. 1.3 The HAARP Project and other government experiments. HAARP 1993, a U.S. research project in Alaska. HAARP was designed to study the ionosphere but became the center of many conspiracy theories. Some claim it has the ability to cause earthquakes, hurricanes, or even mind control. Geoengineering proposals. Scientists have proposed large-scale interventions such as spraying aerosols in the atmosphere to reflect sunlight and combat global warming. While mostly theoretical, these ideas fuel fears of unintended consequences. 2 Popular conspiracy theories about weather manipulation. While real weather modification techniques exist, they have given rise to numerous conspiracy theories. Many people believe that governments and private entities secretly control the weather for political, military, and economic purposes. Below are some of the most well-known weather-related conspiracy theories. 2.1 Chemtrails and geoengineering fears. One of the most persistent weather manipulation conspiracy theories is the idea of chemtrails, the belief that governments or elites spray harmful chemicals into the atmosphere under the guise of normal aircraft contrails, condensation trails. Origins of the chemtrail theory. The theory gained popularity in the 1990s when people noticed lingering white streaks in the sky and speculated that they contained toxic substances. Some conspiracy theorists claim that these chemicals are used for mind control, population control, or climate engineering. The U.S. government has repeatedly denied these claims, explaining that contrails are simply water vapor that condenses and freezes in the cold upper atmosphere. Scientific reality. studies show that contrails are a natural byproduct of aviation and are composed of ice crystals. Geoengineering deliberate climate modification exists in theory but is not actively being implemented on a large scale. Some researchers have suggested the use of stratospheric aerosol injection to reflect sunlight and combat global warming, but this remains a controversial and largely theoretical approach. 2.2 HAARP and weather warfare allegations. HAARP High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program is a U.S. government research project launched in the early 1990s to study the ionosphere. The project has been linked to conspiracy theories claiming it can control the weather, cause earthquakes and hurricanes, disrupt communication systems, manipulate human behavior. Why people believe it? HAARP uses powerful radio waves to study the upper atmosphere, which some people mistakenly believe can influence large-scale weather patterns. High-profile weather disasters, such as the 2010 Haiti earthquake and Hurricane Katrina, have been falsely linked to HAARP. The fact that HAARP is funded by the military has fueled suspicions about its true purpose. Scientific reality: HAARP's energy output is minuscule compared to natural forces like the sun and ocean currents, making it incapable of controlling the weather. The program was largely shut down in 2014. Yet conspiracy theories about it persist. 2.3 Unnatural disasters and weather weapons. Many natural disasters, including hurricanes, earthquakes, and wildfires, have been blamed on secret weather modification projects. Some of the most infamous claims include Hurricane Katrina 2005. Some believe it was artificially intensified to target New Orleans for political or social reasons. 2011 Japan earthquake and tsunami. There were claims that HAARP or another secret technology triggered the disaster. Wildfires in California and Australia. Conspiracy theorists argue that directed energy weapons DEWs were used to start massive wildfires. Scientific reality: natural disasters are driven by complex environmental and geological factors, not human intervention. DEWs exist but are primarily used in military defense and are not capable of setting entire forests on fire. While climate change is increasing the frequency and severity of natural disasters, there is no evidence that they are being intentionally engineered. 3 Legitimate weather modification techniques. While many weather-related conspiracy theories are based on misinformation or exaggerated claims, real weather modification techniques do exist. These methods have been developed for agricultural, environmental, and disaster prevention purposes. However, their capabilities are often misunderstood, leading to fears about potential misuse. 3.1 Cloud seeding, the most common form of weather modification. Cloud seeding is a scientifically proven technique used to enhance precipitation. It involves dispersing substances like silver iodide, sodium chloride salt, or dry ice into clouds to encourage the formation of raindrops or snowflakes. How cloud seeding works: small particles called cloud condensation nuclei are introduced into clouds. These particles attract water vapor, leading to the formation of ice crystals or raindrops. Over time, the droplets grow larger and eventually fall as precipitation. Uses of cloud seeding: drought relief. Many countries, including the US, China, and the UAE, use cloud seeding to increase rainfall in dry regions. Snowpack enhancement. Some areas seed clouds over mountains to boost snowfall, which later melts into fresh water supplies. Hail suppression. Cloud seeding can sometimes reduce the size of hailstones, preventing crop damage. Air pollution reduction. In some cities, rain is artificially induced to clear air pollutants from the atmosphere. Limitations and misconceptions. Cloud seeding cannot create storms or completely stop droughts, it only enhances existing clouds. It does not involve the large-scale climate control that conspiracy theorists often claim. The chemicals used are not harmful to humans or the environment in the small amounts deployed. 3.2 Geoengineering, theoretical weather and climate control. Geoengineering refers to large-scale interventions in Earth's climate system to counteract global warming. While these methods remain mostly theoretical, they are often cited in conspiracy theories about weather control. Types of geoengineering: solar radiation management (SRM), IDEA, reflects sunlight away from Earth to cool the planet. Example: spraying aerosols like sulfur dioxide into the atmosphere to mimic the cooling effect of volcanic eruptions. Concerns: could disrupt weather patterns and cause unintended side effects. Carbon dioxide removal (CDR), IDEA, remove excess CO from the atmosphere. Example: machines that capture carbon and store it underground. Concerns: expensive and requires massive infrastructure. Marine cloud brightening, IDEA, increase the reflectivity of clouds over the ocean to cool the planet. Example: spraying seawater into the air to form brighter clouds. Concerns: could change local weather patterns. Scientific reality versus conspiracy theories: no large-scale geoengineering project is currently active. Some governments and universities research these methods, but they have not been widely implemented. Conspiracies linking geoengineering to secret weather control programs are unfounded. 3.3 Weather modification for military and strategic purposes. Historically, weather modification has been explored for military applications, fueling conspiracy theories about weather warfare. Notable military weather projects: Operation Popeye 1967–1972, the U.S. military used cloud seeding to extend the monsoon season in Vietnam, attempting to disrupt enemy supply lines. The Environmental Modification Convention 1978, after concerns about weather warfare, the UN banned the use of weather modification for hostile purposes. Is weather warfare still a concern? While some governments continue to study weather control, there is no public evidence of it being used as a weapon. Natural disasters are often falsely blamed on secret weather weapons, but scientists confirm they result from natural processes. 4. Legislation and government stance on weather modification. Given the ethical, environmental, and geopolitical concerns surrounding weather modification, various governments and international organizations have implemented regulations to control its use. However, these laws have also fueled conspiracy theories, as some believe that secret programs continue behind closed doors. 4.1 U.S. Regulations on weather modification. The United States has been at the forefront of weather modification research, particularly in cloud seeding and atmospheric studies. Several laws and regulations govern weather modification activities. Key U.S. policies and programs: National Weather Modification Policy Act 1976, established federal oversight of weather modification projects. Required reporting of weather modification activities to ensure transparency. Weather Modification Reporting Act 1971, mandated that any cloud seeding or weather modification operation be reported to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration (NOAA). State-level bans: some states, like Tennessee, have banned cloud seeding due to public concerns, despite scientific evidence showing minimal risks. Conspiracy theories and public distrust. Despite government transparency about weather modification research, conspiracy theorists argue that secret programs exist beyond public oversight. This distrust is often fueled by historical military projects like Operation Popeye, which proved that weather manipulation could be used as a strategic tool. 4.2 International laws on weather modification. Since weather systems do not respect national borders, international agreements have been established to prevent the misuse of weather modification. Major international agreements: the Environmental Modification Convention in MOD 1978, a United Nations treaty that prohibits the use of environmental modification techniques including weather control for military or hostile purposes. Signed by over 75 countries, including the US, Russia, and China. World Meteorological Organization WMO guidelines, promotes ethical and transparent use of weather modification. Supports cloud seeding for drought relief but discourages unregulated geoengineering. Challenges in global regulation, lack of enforcement. While treaties exist, there is no global policing agency to ensure compliance. Scientific uncertainties. Some weather modification techniques, like geoengineering, remain in experimental stages, making it difficult to regulate them. 4.3 The role of private companies in weather modification. In recent years, private companies have entered the field of weather modification, leading to concerns about corporate influence over climate systems. Notable companies and projects. China's weather modification program. China has invested billions into cloud seeding projects, particularly for controlling rainfall over major cities and improving agricultural yields. During the 2008 Beijing Olympics, Chinese authorities used cloud seeding to prevent rain during the event. United Arab Emirates UAE. The UAE has experimented with artificial rainmaking to combat extreme heat and water shortages. Bill Gates and geoengineering. A research project funded by Bill Gates explored spraying calcium carbonate into the atmosphere to reduce global warming. While the project was purely experimental, conspiracy theorists falsely claimed it was part of a secret climate control agenda. Concerns about privatized weather control. Ethical issues. Should corporations have the right to modify the weather, potentially affecting neighboring regions? Lack of oversight. Unlike government projects, private companies may not always be subject to public scrutiny. 4.4 How governments address conspiracy theories. Many governments have attempted to debunk conspiracy theories about weather manipulation, but distrust remains high. Common government responses. NASA, NOAA, and the WMO frequently release reports explaining the science behind contrails, cloud seeding, and climate engineering. Public outreach programs try to educate people on the difference between real weather modification and conspiracy theories. Why people still don't believe official statements. Historical secrecy. Projects like HARP and Operation Popeye make people skeptical of government claims. Social media amplification. Misinformation spreads faster than scientific facts, making it difficult to correct false beliefs. 5. Modern public perception and the rise of misinformation on social media. Despite scientific explanations and government transparency regarding weather modification, public skepticism remains high. Social media platforms, alternative news sources, and viral conspiracy theories have amplified fears about secret weather control programs. This section explores how misinformation spreads and why people continue to believe in weather manipulation conspiracies. 5.1 How social media fuels weather control conspiracies. The Internet has become the primary source of information for many people, but it has also allowed conspiracy theories to spread at unprecedented rates. Key ways social media contributes to misinformation: echo chambers and confirmation bias. Platforms like Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube use algorithms that show users content similar to what they already believe. People who already distrust the government are more likely to see and share conspiracy theories. Viral sensationalism. Posts with dramatic claims, e.g., "The government is controlling the weather," get more engagement than scientific explanations. Images of natural disasters are often repurposed and falsely attributed to weather weapons. AI-generated and edited images, deep fake videos and digitally altered photos make it easier to create fake evidence of weather manipulation. Examples: photos of chemtrail planes that have been digitally edited. Fake videos claiming to show engineered hurricanes or earthquakes. Mistrust in mainstream media and scientists. Some people believe mainstream media outlets are controlled by elites who want to hide the truth about weather manipulation. Scientists are sometimes accused of being part of a larger conspiracy to cover up the real effects of geoengineering. 5.2 Famous social media weather conspiracies. Several weather-related conspiracy theories have gone viral, leading to real-world consequences. Chemtrail challenges on TikTok and YouTube. Users claim that government planes spray chemicals into the air to control the population. Videos showing long-lasting contrails are often misinterpreted as proof of secret geoengineering projects. Hurricane and wildfire hoaxes. After major natural disasters, social media users falsely claim that the government caused them. Example: in 2018, some conspiracy theorists claimed that the California wildfires were started by directed energy weapons due from space. HAARP is causing earthquakes claims. Anytime a major earthquake occurs, HAARP is blamed even though it has no ability to affect tectonic plates. Some theories falsely claim that certain governments use HAARP technology to target other nations with artificial earthquakes. 5.3 The psychology behind weather conspiracies. Why do people believe in these theories despite scientific evidence proving otherwise? 1. The need for control in a chaotic world. Natural disasters are unpredictable and devastating, making people feel powerless. Believing in a conspiracy provides an explanation for why disasters happen, even if that explanation is false. 2. Mistrust of governments and elites. Governments have a history of secrecy, e.g. classified military projects, intelligence operations, leading people to assume they are always hiding something. Events like Operation Popeye and Cold War experiments fuel suspicions that weather control is still being secretly used. 3. The influence of social proof. When people see others online believing in a conspiracy, they are more likely to accept it as true. Celebrities, influencers, and political figures sometimes promote misinformation, making it seem more credible. 4. Cognitive biases and pattern recognition. The human brain is wired to find patterns, even where none exist. Seeing repeated disasters in certain regions, e.g. hurricanes in the Gulf of Mexico, may lead people to falsely believe in engineered storms. 5.4 The role of alternative media and misinformation sites. Many conspiracy theories originate from fringe websites, blogs, and alternative media outlets that claim to reveal hidden truths. Common features of these sites: they claim that mainstream media is lying. They selectively use real scientific research but distort its meaning. They rely on fear-based narratives to keep readers engaged. Examples of conspiracy-focused websites and channels: some websites promote chemtrail conspiracies, falsely claiming that world governments are conducting a secret weather war. Certain YouTube channels and podcasts spread misinformation about HAARP, claiming it can create hurricanes, floods, and even mind control waves. 5.5 Real-world consequences of weather conspiracy theories. While some conspiracy theories seem harmless, they can have real-world consequences. Legislation based on false fears. In 2024, Tennessee banned cloud seeding due to public pressure, despite no evidence that it posed any harm. Similar bans could hinder scientific research into legitimate weather control techniques. Distrust in scientific institutions. Some communities refuse to believe meteorologists or climate scientists, leading to confusion about climate change and natural disasters. Anti-government groups spread misinformation about weather modification to undermine public trust. Public panic and misinformation campaigns. After major hurricanes or wildfires, conspiracy theories spread rapidly, diverting attention from real disaster relief efforts. Fear-mongering about chemtrails has led to harassment of airline employees and meteorologists. 6. Scientific perspective debunking common myths about weather manipulation. While conspiracy theories about weather modification are widespread, they often rely on misunderstandings of science. In this section, we will explore the scientific reality behind these claims and explain why many popular beliefs about weather control are incorrect. 6.1 Myth 1: Chemtrails are proof of government weather control. The claim: many conspiracy theorists believe that the white trails left behind by airplanes, often called chemtrails, contain harmful chemicals meant to control the weather, the climate, or even human behavior. The scientific reality: what people call chemtrails are actually contrails, short for condensation trails. Contrails form when hot engine exhaust meets cold air at high altitudes, causing moisture to condense into ice crystals. The persistence of contrails depends on humidity levels. On dry days, they disappear quickly; on humid days, they linger longer. Scientific studies on contrails. A 2016 study by 77 atmospheric scientists found no evidence of secret weather modification programs using aircraft. Contrails can contribute to global dimming, as they reflect sunlight, but they do not contain secret chemicals for mind control or weather warfare. 6.2 Myth 2: HAARP can control the weather and cause natural disasters. The claim: the High-Frequency Active Auroral Research Program HAARP in Alaska is often accused of controlling the weather, causing hurricanes, earthquakes, and even manipulating mines. The scientific reality: HAARP is a research project designed to study the ionosphere, a region of Earth's upper atmosphere. The facility uses radio waves to analyze how solar activity affects communication systems. It does not produce enough energy to influence large-scale weather events or the tectonic plates responsible for earthquakes. Debunking specific HAARP conspiracies. Earthquakes. Earthquakes originate deep within the Earth's crust, while HAARP operates in the upper atmosphere. There is no connection between the two. Hurricanes and storms. HAARP transmits radio waves that cannot affect oceanic weather patterns, which are controlled by heat, wind, and pressure systems. 6.3 Myth 3: Cloud seeding is used for secret weather warfare. The claim: some conspiracy theorists believe that cloud seeding is secretly used to manipulate the weather for military or political purposes. The scientific reality: cloud seeding is real but has limited effects. It can slightly increase rainfall, but it cannot create storms, hurricanes, or extreme weather. Governments around the world, including China and the US, use cloud seeding for agricultural benefits and water management. Cloud seeding requires the presence of clouds. It cannot make rain from a clear sky. Example of a real military weather experiment: the U.S. military's Operation Popeye 1967–1972 used cloud seeding to extend monsoon rains in Vietnam, proving that weather modification could be used strategically. However, modern weather control for warfare is banned under the 1978 INMOD Treaty, making it illegal for any country to use it as a weapon. 6.4 Myth 4: Governments are secretly engineering the climate. The claim: some believe that governments or elite organizations are secretly altering the climate through geoengineering, leading to artificial droughts, floods, or extreme weather. The scientific reality: geoengineering is still in the experimental stage. It is discussed by scientists as a way to combat global warming, but no large-scale projects have been implemented. Proposed techniques include stratospheric aerosol injection (SI), spraying tiny particles into the atmosphere to reflect sunlight; cloud brightening, using seawater to increase the reflectivity of clouds; carbon capture, removing CO from the air to slow climate change. None of these methods are currently in widespread use, as their risks and effectiveness are still being studied. 6.5 Myth 5: Natural disasters are manufactured events. The claim: after major disasters, conspiracy theories often emerge claiming that the events were artificially created using weather weapons. Examples include Hurricane Katrina 2005. Some believe it was intensified by weather control technology. 2011 Japan earthquake and tsunami. HAARP was falsely accused of causing the disaster. California wildfires 2018 to 2023. Rumors claimed they were started by directed energy weapons due from satellites. The scientific reality: hurricanes form naturally due to warm ocean temperatures and wind currents. Earthquakes are caused by tectonic plate movement, which no human technology can influence. Wildfires are primarily caused by drought, high temperatures, lightning, and human activity, not energy weapons. Understanding the psychology of blaming disasters on conspiracies: people feel helpless in the face of natural disasters, so they seek explanations that give them a sense of control. Social media spreads misinformation quickly, and misleading images or edited videos can make false claims seem more believable. 6.6 The role of scientists in addressing weather conspiracies. Despite repeated scientific explanations, many people still believe in weather modification conspiracies. Here's how scientists are working to combat misinformation. Public education initiatives. Organizations like NASA, NOAA, and the World Meteorological Organization WMO publish educational materials explaining natural weather phenomena. Universities conduct outreach programs to teach the public about the limits of weather modification. Debunking misinformation on social media. Scientists and fact-checkers actively respond to viral conspiracy theories on platforms like Twitter and YouTube. Independent fact-checking websites like Snopes and Reuters fact-check, analyze, and debunk false weather-related claims. Transparency in weather modification projects. Governments and research institutions openly publish data on cloud seeding and geoengineering experiments. The WMO encourages all weather modification programs to be publicly documented to prevent misinformation. 7. Conclusion: the balance between innovation and ethical concerns in weather modification. Weather modification is a fascinating yet controversial subject. While real techniques like cloud seeding and geoengineering exist, their capabilities are often exaggerated by conspiracy theorists. The fear of secret weather control programs stems from a mix of historical government experiments, public distrust, and the rapid spread of misinformation online. In this final section, we will summarize the key points and explore the future of weather modification, including ethical concerns and the ongoing battle against misinformation. 7.1 Key takeaways on weather modification. Real weather modification exists but has limitations. Cloud seeding can increase precipitation in existing clouds but cannot create or control storms. Geoengineering is still in research phases and has not been deployed on a large scale. HAARP is a scientific research facility that studies the ionosphere but has no ability to control weather. Common conspiracy theories are based on misunderstandings. Chemtrails are not chemical sprays, they are normal aircraft condensation trails. Hurricanes, earthquakes, and wildfires are natural phenomena, not the result of government-engineered disasters. No country or organization has the ability to fully control the weather at will. Governments and scientists support transparency in weather modification. International laws like the Environmental Modification Convention (INMOD) prohibit weather modification for military use. Organizations like NASA, NOAA, and the WMO openly publish information about legitimate weather research. Many governments regulate and report cloud seeding operations to ensure accountability. 7.2 Ethical concerns about weather modification. While real weather modification techniques are not as powerful as conspiracy theories suggest, they still raise important ethical questions. 1. Should humans interfere with natural weather systems? While cloud seeding can benefit agriculture, unintended side effects could disrupt local ecosystems. Large-scale geoengineering projects might cool the planet but could also affect rainfall patterns in unpredictable ways. 2. Who controls weather modification? Geopolitical concerns. If one country modifies its weather, Could it impact neighboring nations' corporate involvement? Should private companies have the power to alter weather conditions for profit? Unequal access. Will wealthier nations use weather modification to their advantage while poorer countries suffer the consequences? 3. Potential weaponization of weather modification. While the UNMOD Treaty bans weather warfare, some fear that secret programs might exist. Could cloud seeding or geoengineering be used as a political or military tool in the future? These ethical debates highlight the need for global cooperation, strict regulations, and continued scientific research to ensure responsible use of weather modification technologies. 7.3 The future of weather modification. The field of weather modification is constantly evolving, and researchers are exploring new ways to mitigate climate change, reduce extreme weather, and improve agricultural stability. Some future developments include 1. Advanced cloud seeding techniques. Using AI and machine learning to better predict when and where cloud seeding will be most effective. Developing environmentally friendly seeding agents that minimize ecological impact. 2. Geoengineering as a climate change solution. If global warming continues at current rates, some scientists propose solar radiation management as a last resort option to cool the planet. However, geoengineering remains controversial due to potential unintended consequences. 3. Improved weather forecasting and disaster prevention. AI-driven climate models could help predict extreme weather events more accurately, giving governments more time to prepare. Some researchers believe modifying local weather patterns could one day be used to weaken hurricanes before they reach land. While these advancements are promising, strict international regulations and ethical oversight will be necessary to ensure that weather modification is used responsibly and transparently. 7.4 The ongoing battle against misinformation. As long as real weather modification exists, conspiracy theories will likely persist. However, combating misinformation is crucial for scientific progress, public trust, and informed decision-making. How to address weather manipulation misinformation. Public education campaigns. Schools and universities should teach critical thinking and media literacy to help people recognize misinformation. Government agencies should be more proactive in explaining weather modification science. Fact-checking and debunking false claims. Platforms like Snopes, Reuters Fact Check, and NASA's website provide science-backed explanations. Scientists and meteorologists should engage with the public to clarify misunderstandings. Regulating social media disinformation. While free speech is important, social media companies should take action against deliberate disinformation campaigns. AI detection tools can help flag fake images and misleading weather conspiracy content. While it is unlikely that conspiracy theories will disappear entirely, increasing scientific literacy, government transparency, and public awareness can help reduce the spread of misinformation and promote informed discussions about weather modification. Final thoughts. Weather modification is a complex and often misunderstood topic. While scientific weather control techniques exist, they are far more limited than the conspiracy theories suggest. Cloud seeding can enhance rainfall, but it cannot create storms from nothing. HAARP is a research facility, not a weather weapon. Geoengineering remains a theoretical solution for climate change, not a secret government project. At the same time, ethical concerns about weather modification, including its potential consequences and geopolitical implications, should not be dismissed. Scientific advancements must be accompanied by strict regulations, public transparency, and responsible governance to ensure that weather modification is used for the benefit of humanity, not as a tool for exploitation or conflict. As we move into the future, the challenge is not just advancing weather modification science but also educating the public to separate fact from fiction. Only through open dialogue, scientific integrity, and global cooperation can we responsibly navigate the evolving landscape of weather modification technology.